Thanks very much. Okay, who else did we say, Jess?
This is when I get entertaining.
I know, right, I know. I don't like, I know. And listen, we're all, you know, to be observed in this pose, bravo. Because this is a hard pose, right? It's like not like you're demonstrating to Dawson. Okay.
I could if you want.
Okay, so come into plank pose. You were watching her more than I was. Okay, and then go ahead and lower down to chaturanga.
Oh, sure.
Good. Okay, good. That's very nice, actually. Really, really nice. The only thing that I notice is just what do you see? Anything that you notice?
Butt up. Butt up a little bit.
A little bit. Not really so much.
Should you go down a little bit too low?
Yeah, maybe. Just, you don't have to go down that far.
I'm used to just like dropping to the floor and then flipping my feet and coming right up.
Yeah.
And pushing my arms back a little.
Yeah, I know. It's like great. Yeah, it's like luxury yoga. Yeah, just a little. You can pull up a little bit more through the front of your ribs and your abdomen, just a little bit more, and not go down as far. So let's try it one more time. So come into plank pose.
She was sticking her butt much more.
Much more.
That's why
She curved her legs. Good.
You were very tired.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so even here, Jess, before you even go down, look at her back. Look at her lower. Look at this. Okay. So the reason. Okay, so. Here's the thing, is that in plank pose and in chaturanga, you actually want to emphasize more of a posterior tilt. Have your tailbone even more. Pull up here even more. Because of gravity, she's going to lose that tremendously. So you want to overemphasize that, okay? And then situate forward, bend your elbows, and stop. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your tailbone, tuck your tailbone, lift your shoulders. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, so you only come down to the point where your arm goes parallel to the floor. And it's so hard to keep your shoulders lifted. You have to really think of using, again, the muscles in your upper back to get your shoulder blades together and overemphasize posterior tilt to your pelvis. Because of gravity, pelvis is heavy, right? So when you lower down, your shoulders are heavy and your pelvis is heavy. So it's not uncommon for the shoulders to drop forward and the pelvis to drop because they're heavy. So you're fighting gravity. So those muscles are like, what?
I think it's a big lack of upper body strength and core strength.
Yeah.
I have to work on. So.
And it's like, you know, this part, like our upper backs, our triceps, these are not things that generally we strengthen. And you think about like your daily, like workout things that you do. You ride the bike, you like run, you know, you do things that like don't necessarily like strengthen upper back and arm.
Unless you're like lifting weights or
Unless
something.
you're lifting weights or something, or you're doing a lot of arm balancing like in yoga. Like that's where you get like those muscles strong and the muscles in the upper back. And back bending. Don't really do back bending in a regular routine unless you're doing a lot of yoga. And that's where you get those muscles really strong too. Okay. Okay, good. What's the position of alignment in chaturanga?
Everything on the same plane.
Everything on the same plane, right? What's the angle of the arms? 90 degrees. What's the positioning of the
Elbow over wrist.
Yeah, the elbows are bent. The wrists are in line with the elbows. Forearms are perpendicular
To upper arm.
Yep. What's it? Yeah, wrists are flexed.
Upper arms parallel to the floor.
Upper arms parallel to the floor. Yeah.
Upper arm's close to bottom.
Upper arms closed. Yeah, but not like some, I don't know if I see anybody do that. Maybe Vanessa like a little bit. Is that, you know, your arms like, your arms draw in, but they don't squeeze in like this. Right? There's, some of you like are a little bit too narrow because you're squeezing in and then you come up into upward facing dog and you're like that. Okay, you think you're doing that a
I
little
think
bit?
I do that because like I have so much problem with like broadening. So
Okay.
I'm just like, I'm
Let's
just gonna
look-
do
can we
this
look at
instead.
you? I know, sorry. I know, thanks Jess. Okay, yeah. Because you're also broad, Vanessa, too. You also have to take into consideration like how, like, you know, remember we were talking about the pelvis? Like what's going up here? Like how broad are you in the shoulders? And that may also be a factor in how, like, wide you take your arms. Okay, so let's see what's happening. Oh, let me make another point, sorry. And I'm a bad example because you can see me do this all day. Yeah, it's when you're doing a lot of this stuff with the wrists and the arms, like take off these extra, like, yeah, nobody else really has them. Yeah, I'm always wearing like things. Take them off because it's not good for your wrist. Okay, so come forward into plank pose. Okay, good. Okay, so you can actually lower your pelvis a little bit more. Drop your hips down more. That's it, good. Okay, now start to come into chaturanga.
Yeah.
Good, Vanessa. Okay, and then you can lower down. Okay, good. Okay, that looks nice. I was going to take a nap. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks good.
There's a lot of like active squeezing.
Yes, you have to. Oh yeah.
Think about when you come into chaturanga, move the back of your armpits to your heels. Back of your armpits, so just this, instead of like squeezing or anything,
Yeah.
move the back of your armpits to your heels.
Yeah.
Back of your armpits to your heels.
Yeah, or your shoulder blades. Like, or just think send your shoulder blades down. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is that your shoulder blades are going in towards each other and down your back. So you're making that happen from that rather than just squeeze in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that looks nice. Okay. From plank pose though, you just slightly drop your pelvis a little. You're a little like lifted with your hips. Okay. And again, that's common because we're like, oh my God, this is heavy, right? And it is. Like,
Oh, this one's really heavy.
yeah. So it's like everybody's pelvis is like this bone is just heavy. Okay. All right. Good. Any questions with any of this? Final questions? Yeah.
I don't know, I think we may have already covered it, but when we were talking about points of alignment for downward dog, we were saying like feet can be shoulder width apart. But then I see a lot of times like some of us, or myself included, we're going to plank, like we put our feet together and chaturanga, our feet are together. So does it matter, or is it more like what's comfortable for your body?
No, you don't want your feet together. You want your feet to be in the same position the whole time. From down, whatever they're in down dog.
And it's okay to have them that wide in chaturanga and then,
Hip width?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how they should be. Your legs,
that might just be water, that's all.
yeah, so your legs are hip width apart in down dog, plank, chaturanga, and up dog.
Whatever it is, it should be the same.
Yes, yeah. I would say if you're going like on a wider stance in down dog, like you're taking the legs the width of the mat, then before you do that, maybe take them hip width apart, but they wouldn't be together in those poses. Yeah.
I've been doing chin chest all the way down part because I thought it was less stress on rotator cuff.
It is.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah. Well, it is because you're.
But as you say, it's not chaturanga.
Yeah.
So in your instruction of chaturanga is the best protection that you can suggest for rotator cuff, the rolling back of and pushing down of the shoulder.
Knees down.
No, the knees on the floor.
Knees on the
Like we
Oh,
did with
okay.
Prima. It's
All
just do the same like you're used to. Heather, like take your knees down, right? But instead of like going knees, chest, chin,
Yeah.
right? Which again, if you don't do that mindfully and carefully, like you could still stress your shoulder a little bit there, not as much. You don't have as much weight, but you're going to still think of lowering down in the same way. So you're going to shift forward, and you're going to, really think of pulling up here as you come forward. Bend your elbows in and lower down, and keep your shoulders lifted, and then just push right back up. And go back, so you can work with that to just develop strength and really concentrate on your shoulder blades, drawing in and down. Okay.